Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Connor.
And today we have 3 Grey Knight tournament lists for your viewing pleasure. These are the top 3 lists out of the Renegade Open that I went to, I guess, a month ago now, by the time you see this video. We'll dive into each of them similar to how we did the tier list list and see what people are bringing at the top tables of the Grey Knights. One of these lists is finished second place and only lost to the guy who got first. So it's he's a great player and obviously he brings a very good list. So we'll dive into that one.
Yeah.
If you guys are looking forward to this video, the Grey Knight tactics, list reviews, things like that, as well as our other content, please subscribe to stay up to date on it. Like the video because that helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to help support the channel just a little bit, do consider becoming a member. Join the Patreon. Join the Discord and get access to member exclusive videos.
Some good stuff in there.
Good stuff in there, yeah. With all that out of the way, let's dive into the video.
As we'll discuss a little bit later, we're just going to go over the lists first, but these lists are very similar to each other.
Yes,
very similar. So let's just get right into it. The Charlie Andre list, which is the second place in this tournament that Craig went to, he brought a patrol detachment and a spearhead. Let's go over the patrol. The patrol is Prescient Brethren, which is the CP regaining every turn with a psychic power, psychic action. And the HQs for that are a Brotherhood Tech Marine. He has the psychic power Gate of Infinity, comes with the bolt gun, Omniscion power axe, and servo arms. 80 points. Amazing.
Simple, yeah.
Next, we have the Grandmaster that you see, know, and love. It's a Grandmaster and a Nemesis Dread Knight. He's 235 points, so he gave him the sword, not the hammer. Interesting. He has Gate of Infinity, Empiric Amplification, Hammer of Righteousness. Those are his those are his 2 psychic powers. Hammer of Righteousness is one of his warlord traits. Unyielding Anvil for his second warlord trait, which is OBSEC.
Yeah.
Interesting. He comes with 1 Dread Fist, as they all do. Dread Knight Teleporter. Exemplar of the Silver Host, which gives him his second warlord trait.
Yep.
Gatling Silencer, Heavy Psi Cannon, Nemesis Greatsword, Servant of the Throne for the once per turn 3-up invone.
Once per game.
Once per game, that lasts 1 turn, sorry.
Yes.
3-up invone, Sigil of Exigence, which is when you get targeted from a shooting attack, you can teleport. And he's the Warlord.
Wow.
It's such a mouthful to go over those HQ Dread Knights. So those are the HQs for the patrol. Next up we have the troops. It is 2 strike squads with halberds. Nice and simple.
Simple.
Fast attack, we have 2 maxed out 10-man interceptor squads with, again, all halberds.
All halberds.
Nice and simple. It really offsets the HQ words when you talk about the troops here.
Yeah.
So that is the patrol. It's Prescient Brethren. It's pretty simple. And then it also comes with a spearhead detachment, which is the heavy support detachment. It's minus 3 CP, as you would imagine. But it has a similar Brotherhood Tech Marine. It's 110 points because he was given the, where is it?
Etheric Conduit?
No, Foretelling of Locust is the chapter upgrade points thing. It's the 30 points. You can shoot something
when it deep strikes. Right, okay.
Then he also has the Etheric Conduit, which is the Tech Marine relic that allows you to just heal flat 3 on a vehicle every turn. Otherwise, he's a Tech Marine. Then we have another Grandmaster and a Nemesis Dread Knight. He's 210 points because he does not have the invone. He has Gate of Infinity, Empiric Amplification, Dread Knight Teleporter, Gatling Silencer, Heavy Psi Cannon, and he has a hammer, which is interesting.
There you go.
Next up, the troop choice for the spearhead is 5 strike guys, and they all have swords. It's kind of cool.
Some variety.
Yeah, have 1 squad with swords, I guess, why not? And then finally, in the heavy support for the spearhead, we have 3 Nemesis Dread Knights, all with teleporters, Gatling Silencers, Psi Cannon, Greatsword.
Woo!
So this is basically what you see, I mean, obviously you got second place. This is kind of the pinnacle of Grey Knights right now.
Yes, absolutely.
I would say the only thing that it doesn't have is a third interceptor squad, but I mean, do you really...
I mean,
it's not much of a
the
loss.
2 10-mans, he probably is
Probably enough.
combat squadding them. So they act as 4 interceptor squads.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he combat squads only 1. I'm assuming he probably combat squads them all.
Yeah. I'm just trying to pick out any other kind of unique stuff. It's really not too much. I mean, this is the archetypal... Is that how you say that? I think it's right. Archetypal list for Grey Knights, 5 Dread Knights.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Pretty nasty.
Always use Empiric Amplification from one of your Grandmasters because it's amazing. Always heal with your Tech Marines.
And then the Tech Marines get to boost up the others.
Yeah, your Tech Marines are always going to be boosting up the... Is it Ballistic Skill or is it...
It's ballistic skill.
It's just Ballistic Skill?
It's just ballistic skill.
I think that sounds right.
So the 2 of the Nemesis Dread Knights, just the HQ version, or heavy support, are going to sit back with the Tech Marines and get poked by them. Tell them to do better. And
or maybe one Tech Marine walks forward with one up the middle.
One might move forward a little bit, but...
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it's a very straightforward list, and it seems really powerful.
Very powerful. You got mobility, you got damage, and you got a lot of units for secondary purposes too.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I really have to say about it is point out a difference from the list that I've been building, besides the fact that I don't have max Dread Knights.
You don't have 5 Dread Knights yet.
Besides that is that the Warlord has, for his Warlord traits, Hammer of Righteousness, which is probably the best trait in the book. It's the +1 to wound when you charge in close combat. But instead of having First to the Fray as his second choice, he has Unyielding Anvil. So instead of +1 to charge, he has OBSEC.
And that's the granted unit OBSEC or an aura of OBSEC?
Aura. So himself.
Himself and the
and
interceptors.
what's around him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in a tournament play, that's probably smarter.
Yeah.
OBSEC.
Yeah, that helps out a lot. When you get in those clutch situations where your opponent's got OBSEC, you just need a model to negate that or something.
I feel like when I play you, that doesn't happen often because we're just murdering each other.
We're murdering each other, and I'm playing Tyranids, which often have a lot of OBSEC and a lot of models.
So it's not really about that when I play you.
Might not be. Yeah. Against other armies, Dark Eldar, where they might have smaller units now.
Yeah.
Or Space Marines, where they have smaller 5-man units typically.
It would help.
It would help.
Yeah. So, amazing list and an awesome use of Tech Marines.
Yes.
Which I have not used yet, but I will now.
We got to get you a Tech Marine. That's on the list.
We'll have some AdMech sub in while we do that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is Charlie Andre's second place list. Seems amazing. Now we have Tyler DeVries. He got 9th. Also amazing. I did not know that Grey Knights were going to become
9th.
Top tier.
Out of 66 players.
That's awesome.
So just as a reference point for those of you who don't remember.
Yeah. So let's go over this, guys. He has a patrol and another patrol. Cool. And the first one, once again, is Prescient Brethren. He has almost the same Grandmaster Dread Knight leading it, but this one has the Teleporter, Silencer, Psy Cannon, Greatsword, Sigil of Exigence. Oh, -1 CP because he has another relic somewhere, I would guess. Hammer of Righteousness for his second Warlord trait. Am I missing what his first Warlord trait is?
Is it somewhere else?
We'll look into that. But
Look into it.
it's probably.
Oh no, he's got his Warlord trait. The other one's down here.
Oh, right. He didn't put 2 on the Dread Knight.
Yeah, he didn't put 2 on the Dread Knight.
So to finish out the Dread Knight, he gave him 1 Warlord trait, which is Hammer of Righteousness, -1 CP for that. He has Gate of Infinity and Empiric Amplification. I would guess that you'll always see those 2 psychic powers on your Grandmaster Dread Knights. He has a Brotherhood Tech Marine with the Etheric Conduit for the heal. Divination. So, for the second HQ in the Prescient Brethren Patrol, we have an 80-point Brotherhood Tech Marine. He has the Etheric Conduit for the flat 3 healing on a vehicle every turn. Divination, which is the Prescient Brethren's Warlord trait, which is Warp Charge 6, Psychic Action. You get a CP back.
Okay.
And he has the Power Warp Shaping. Wow, I really like this. And he's the Warlord. I really enjoy, this is probably how I'll run a Tech Marine, because he sits in the back, heals something, gives you a CP, and is your Warlord, so you don't just give up your Warlord point right away.
Yeah.
That's cool. Next up for the patrol, we have a squad of 5 strike guys. They have 4 halberds and a warding stave. I don't know if you put the warding stave on the Justicar or not. It doesn't really matter, I don't think.
Yeah, probably not.
Next up for fast attack, once again, we have 2 squads of 10 interceptors, 9 halberds and 1 warding stave. So this guy really likes the warding staves.
He likes the staves.
I get it. And finally, for that patrol, we have a regular Dread Knight in the heavy support. He has the teleporter, silencer, side cannon, and greatsword.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward again.
Good there.
We'll keep cruising through this one. The second patrol is a Sword Bearers patrol, as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with the fully stocked Grandmaster Dread Knight, 235 points with the teleporter, silencer, side cannon, greatsword, not hammer, Servant of the Throne for the once per game 3-up invuln, Unyielding Anvil for 1 more CP. Can you do that? That's 3 Warlord traits.
You must be able to.
You must be able to if you did it in a tournament. He comes with Gate of Infinity and Empiric Amplification yet again.
Brutal.
So it's the same Dread Knight, Grandmaster Dread Knight, but he has Servant of the Throne. And yeah, very strong. Next up, another troops choice. We have another 5-man squad of strikes with all halberds and a stave again. Fast attack, we have 10 more interceptors, 9 halberds and a stave. Finally, we have 2 Dread Knights. One is a little different though. One of them is a regular Dread Knight with the teleporter, silencer, side cannon, greatsword.
Yep.
And I guess this last one, he probably ran out of points.
Yeah.
160 points for a Nemesis Dread Knight with the silencer, side cannon. So no teleporter, so he can't use the strat, our best strat.
No.
And
I guess he probably just holds the back line and shoots.
yeah, which I mean, probably a good place to save points.
Probably.
Because one's generally, if you have 5.
Yeah, 5. If one doesn't have combat potential, it's probably okay.
Or at least, I mean, he just doesn't have the shunt movement, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's the biggest difference in this list.
That and the warding staves.
That and the staves, and then...
He's only got 1 Tech Marine.
Oh, I think I failed to mention it in the first list, but the Spearhead detachment of that is also Sword Bearers. Because if you're spamming Dread Knights, that is by far the best.
It's interesting. Why do you think he has one of the Dread Knights in Prescient and not in Sword Bearers?
As I was making this, I just couldn't tell you. Wait, no, because it's a patrol. You can only have 2 heavy supports.
Oh, he's rocking dual patrols. That's why, duh.
So the trade-off, well, let's compare it to the first list we did. So why does...
He paid 3 CP, and he paid 2 CP.
And they both have a Prescient Brethren. They both have the Warlord trait, or Warlord trait, that gives you a CP. Mm-hmm. When I'm building a list, I would probably do what the first guy did. Not that I'm not saying this is bad at all.
No, it's interesting to compare. Obviously, he did well with it.
Obviously,
if he went 9th, he probably went 4 and 2.
He was playing. I mean, he's playing Dark Eldar, Admech, all the top armies. You know.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's interesting. So you put one of them. Here's an interesting. Let's go to the Sword Bearers psychic power. Okay, so that is specific to just sword bearer vehicles.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So you are missing out on the +1 to wound from shooting attacks from that one guy. Maybe it just doesn't matter when you have
5 of them.
When you have 5 Dread Knights, maybe it's worth saving that CP because it is CP is huge for Grey Knights.
CP is big for Grey Knights. Yeah, maybe he goes that way.
Otherwise, I mean, everything is kitted, like you said, besides the warding staves. It's basically the exact same kits as the first list.
I'm curious if he combat squatted all of his interceptor squads or if he kept them the way, because with the warding stave, you'd probably want the big squads, right?
Well,
Or it's extra CP to do it on a bigger squad?
It's essentially the same CP because if it's a squad of 10, you're paying 2. If it's a squad of 5, you're paying 1.
1.
But he only has 1 stave per
So if
squad.
he combat squad him, 1 squad wouldn't have him.
So I would guess he kept all of his squads maxed.
I feel like he's got so few units then.
Well, let's see. He has, what, 3 strike squads?
2 strike squads.
Oh, my.
2 strike squad, 3 interceptors. That's what I'm thinking. He's had to have combat squad at least one of them.
Maybe he just did 1 and...
kept them back or something. And
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting list.
It is interesting. Yeah, those are the only differences from the other list, I think. And I guess I'll throw in a little thing to compare it to my own. I should probably stop using incinerators on my Dread Knights. I just like to use them because that's what mine are modeled with, but
Sure.
I should probably just do Psycan and Silencer for every...
Silencers. With empiric amplification, silencers are just so good.
It's so significant.
It's a shame the Flamer doesn't have the Psi weapon keyword.
Yes, Psy Flamer. I don't know.
I don't know.
You could have named it that. Maybe they thought it would be overpowered some...
I don't
somewhere.
know. Maybe if you guys know in the lore, is there
Yeah.
a lore reason why the Flamer doesn't get that keyword? Because that would be cool.
Well, from what I know, every Psi weapon, every bullet is blessed with a spell.
Oh, you can't bless.
You could bless
Yeah.
a tank of gas. Maybe not. Maybe that doesn't make as much sense.
Maybe that's why. So
Yeah.
I get it. But yeah.
Tyler DeVries, awesome list.
Very nice. Now we have the last one. I mean, there were 3 or 4 other Grey Knight lists at the tournament, but this was
Highest
the
placing.
next highest placing one. This is one I played actually in my fourth game.
Wow. And you
I beat him.
beat him.
I beat him. So this guy probably also had 2 losses, and I was one of those.
But you said he was
no.
good.
Yeah, he was good. This
was
is
a good
this is
player.
my 3rd game.
Okay.
So yeah, I beat
Craig
him.
actually played this guy. That's
I
cool.
beat him to go up to the 2nd table.
Wow. Second table.
And then I fell quickly far after that.
Well, we'll just leave it at second table.
Yeah.
So this guy, as you can imagine, it's very similar, but he has the most different list out of any of them.
Okay.
So, Craig played this guy. We'll hear your thoughts in a second here. He has a patrol and a spearhead yet again. Seems to be probably the...
Common. When you got to
Yeah.
maximize them Dread Knights.
Yeah, when that's the main thing you're focusing on, you got to get the spearhead. So for the patrol, it is a... Wow. Yeah, Prescient Brethren again for the... Okay. So, here's where the differences start, though. This is pretty cool. He has a Brotherhood Champion for 100 points. Now... Oh, there it is. Yeah, so they start at 70 points. He has Gate of Infinity. He has the Prescient Brethren Warlord trait, Divination, for +1 CP. And he also gave him the chapter upgrade Foretelling of Locus, which is the pick a unit near you, and they can shoot at something that's deep striking near them.
Yes.
That's 30 points for that. I would be interested to see if he thought that was worth it.
Against me, no.
Definitely not against you, but it's only a 12-inch range on that.
Yeah, I
wonder.
get the utility of it. Charlie used it too.
It's a deterrent, I guess, right?
I mean, think of the Tyranid Lictors when they could be as good as they used to be, or popping them in. If there's a unit within range, I cannot.
You just can't put them there.
I just can't put it there, and that will deny
it's a
me
bubble.
secondary points. A
So
lot
it's
of
a
them.
secondary, a 30-point secondary denying bubble.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that could be. Yeah, I mean that.
Yeah.
Potentially could be a 4 to 10 point swing in a game if he denies a corner with that.
I suppose. Okay. Well, we made a video a while ago where we talked about those upgrades, and I kind of dumped on it. I think I should probably take that back.
It's got potential.
I'll take it back right now. He's also the Warlord, which is super smart because he's obviously sitting back and just gaining CP, doing the bubble, and using Gate of Infinity. Super cool choice. Next up, we have a much more familiar choice. A Grandmaster Dread Knight. He's 230 points. He has Empiric Amplification, Vortex of Doom.
Fun.
Instead of Gate,
Yeah.
which is cool. Dreadfist, he has a Teleporter, Silencer, Psy Cannon, and this guy gave him a Great Hammer,
Yes.
which is kind of what I like now. And he has Servant of the Throne for the Invone, Sigil of Exigence for the Teleport when targeted. Cool HQ slots. Next up, for the Patrol, we have a single strike squad, but it's a 10-man strike squad.
10 man.
They have Halberds, They have halberds.
They have halberds.
They have halberds. No stave in this one. That's pretty much all you have to say about that.
Yep.
Next up, this is... Oh, wait, no, I see. This is Fast Attack, 2 10-man interceptor squads, all with halberds again.
Yep. Simple there.
It's what we've seen before. Next up, we have his Spearhead Detachment. So, again, it's the difference from the second list. He put as many Dread Knights in this part of it as he could. It's the, shocker, Sword Bearers Brotherhood. They did not do a great job balancing the Brotherhoods in this book. We'll talk about it in a sec. So -3 CP, it's a Spearhead Detachment for Sword Bearers. This is a cool part. And Craig said this guy actually was a beast against him.
Crow did scary stuff.
He brought Castellan Crow for 90 points. That's so cool. It's one of my favorite characters in the lore. And he gave him Warp Shaping. Is that his only Warp Shaping in the list?
I believe so.
Huh.
Now, really, after first turn, if
Yeah.
you're playing with this kind of list, you only have to change it once.
That's a great point.
So
it's making me want to take Librarians less and less, actually, because it's, well, for really competitive lists.
Yeah.
Anyways, he has Crow in his HQ slot. Next up, of course, he has a Grandmaster Dread Knight for 215 points. -1 CP because he gave him a Warlord trait, which is Unyielding Anvil, which is objective secure. Psychic powers, he gave him Gate of Infinity and Vortex of Doom. Oh, cool, he's doubling up on Vortex of Doom. I like that. Cool. He has a Teleporter, Gatling Silencer, Side Cannon. This one has a Great Sword. And Shield of Humanity, that's the stratagem you use to give him an extra Warlord trait.
Oh, sure, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then we got his other troops choice, which is another 5-man squad of strike guys with halberds. Finally, 3 Nemesis Dread Knights. All with...
Dreadnought.
What would you guess?
Dreadnought Teleporter, or Dreadnought Teleporter.
Yeah.
Gatling Silencer.
Yeah.
Gatling Side Cannon.
And?
A Great Sword.
So weird. I've never seen that before.
No, shock.
So...
It's almost like they're good.
Yeah. Those are the 3 lists. Oh, sorry, that was Jasper Axelson. He got 11th place.
11th place.
And played Craig. That's cool.
Yeah, this is, Crow did,
yeah, what'd he do?
He did work. He rolled a lot of 6s to wound with his special sword.
So Crow, yeah, his sword is the same as the other Grey Knight's sword, but when you roll 6s to wound, you get D3 mortal wounds per 6 to wound.
Yeah, and you did 3 mortal wounds, or 3 6s to wound my Scythe Hero Duel.
So what, like 6 mortal wounds on top of damage?
Yeah. And the problem was, I did not realize Crow had a 6-inch heroic intervention.
He's a super Brotherhood champion.
I thought I was gonna walk into a Dread Knight and beat it down, no problem. And then Crow popped in. I'm like, shoot! I killed the Dread Knight.
Yeah.
No, I didn't kill the Dread Knight. I left him on like 2 wounds. So between a Dread Knight and Crow, the Scythe Hero Duel did not last.
No, and I'm trying to look and see.
And that worried me a lot because him dying so fast, I was...
Puts you in a bad place.
Put me in a bad place. Now the Barbed Hero Duel and the Hive Guard changed that.
Oh yeah.
But
Crow's he's not a paper tiger. He's somewhere in between.
He's good.
He's a great.
I was very impressed with him. Now he did roll well, but still for 90 points.
He also didn't even have his Warlord trait. He comes with the one that's +1 to wound when you charge.
Oh yeah, he didn't do that.
So he didn't even have that. I don't think that was anywhere else either.
No.
No. No. Wow, he didn't even use that Warlord trait. Interesting. Well, that's cool. Anything else from the game you played against him that was unique?
He combat squatted everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
So the 2 interceptor
squad, the big strike squad. Yeah, it was just a bunch of 5-man units running up the board.
Seems like the way to go, especially because he didn't have the staves. So there's no need to keep them as 10.
But I mean, it was good. I was on my back foot after the first 2 turns, but luckily he killed a lot of my stuff, like my Swarm Lord and my Scythe Hero Duel. He did do some wounds to my Hive Guard because we were playing the diagonal tables. And there was
only could sneak in.
He could between 5 Dread Knights. He eventually had line of fire on some of them.
Yeah.
So he was whittling down the Hive Guard, but that Barbed Hero Duel, man, he took out 2 of them by himself.
2 regular Dread Knights.
2 Dread Knights. One of them was the Grandmaster, and one was a normal guy.
Wow, that's very Barbed, you said.
Barbed.
Not even scythed.
No.
Wow.
The barbed. Scythe didn't do anything that game. He died. Well, he wounded a Dread Knight.
And he took the hits.
And he took a lot of hits.
That's what he's supposed to do. Yeah.
So that was that. It was a great game against him. Definitely terrifying to play against. So
yeah. Okay. Well, so as we've repeatedly mentioned and made jokes about, they're very similar lists, almost identical.
Almost identical.
And the reason for that is, I believe, I think you said it when we were recording a different Grey Knight video. Grey Knights have 30 units total in the book, right?
That's
29.
29,
maybe.
and most of those are HQs.
A lot of them are HQs, unviable HQs, not competitively unviable.
Yes.
So I guess let's discuss what we think of first we'll go with internal balancing of the Grey Knight Codex.
I would say, as an opponent of the Grey Knights,
You've played them a lot.
I have played
So much.
so many games and a lot of different Grey Knight players.
Yeah.
I played
Not just me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Grey Knight players, I'd say,
In 9th edition.
in 9th edition with their new codex. So all variety in the list.
Yeah.
For the most part, all variety in the list.
You've seen a bunch of different, maybe not
Well,
flyers.
from you, I've seen a bunch of different lists.
Yeah.
One other guy was playing a much more casual Grey Knight Terminator.
Yeah.
And then a couple different people all bringing the 5 Dread Knights.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say Terminators, you don't see them. And they're good as Grey Knights. You could argue they're better, but they're too many points.
They're 42 points.
They need
start.
to go down at least 2 points.
At least, maybe even 4, 5. 37 points for a Terminator. That still feels like a price tag.
Yes. So I think
It's kind of a whole
I
separate
think
video.
they need to go down a few points. Think the Interceptors and the Strike Squad all need to go up 1 point at least.
Even Strike Squads?
I think the Strike Squad. I mean, they're
Interceptors I get.
Interceptors
They
for
move 12
sure.
inches.
Maybe because they're 21 points, so they're 1 point more than an Intercessor.
Oh, sorry, 22 points
And 22 points
for
piece.
Strike Squad.
Okay, so then maybe Strike Squads can stay where they are.
Yeah.
But the Interceptors, I think, need to go up 1 more point to 25.
Yeah.
Because they are very good. They are very mobile, and they can take all your objectives, and they still hit like a truck in combat against elite infantry and things like that. But the Dread Knights are obviously the other big one.
So I guess let's go regular versus Grandmaster. I would say, obviously I'm so biased. I would say maybe, no, you can't do that though. I was going to say leave the Grandmasters as they are, but they probably need a points increase.
I would say you increase. So this is my
Craig's
my
idea.
thought, and there's a little variation to it. Increase the Grandmaster Dread Knight by 5 or 10 points base, and then increase the Silencer and the Psy Cannon by 5 points each.
So let's go with 5 for each of those 3 things. That's an increase of 15 points.
And then so if you do 5 points there, so the reason I thought 10 is then on the regular Dread Knights, increase them by 5 points. Maybe. Because then that would be a 20, I guess 250 points, but they do a lot.
They do a lot, but
Maybe 5 points. So a 15-point increase on the standard Dreadnought.
Yeah.
Or Dread Knight
Yeah.
increase. So that one up there would be 245. And then do a 10-point.
close to being way too expensive though.
Oh, but
I
one
know.
of these ones can beat Swarmy down, and Swarmy's 240.
But Swarmy does have the catapult.
He does have the catapult.
It's tough because we have the good psychic powers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you can actually upgrade these.
that's true.
Whereas Swarmy, you cannot upgrade.
Swarmy's a name character, yeah.
The heavy support ones, at the very least, increase still, of course, the Silencer and the Psy Cannon by 5 points apiece. That'd bring them
Let's
up.
say the guy as well, because that would bring them to an even 200.
Sure, you could do that.
I'd still do
I
it.
think a lot of people would still do it.
So,
But if
okay.
the Terminators go down a little bit, maybe you would see a few, maybe see 1 or 2 less, and maybe a squad of Terminators mixed in there.
Depends on how many points. If the Terminators just go down 2 points, I think you don't see them at all still.
Dang.
If it's any more than 2, because let's say it's 3 points, which I think is still too expensive for what they do. You're saving 15 points on a squad of 5.
That's something.
That's something.
That's something.
And I mean, it gets them a little closer to a strike squad value, but the strike squads are still just so valuable.
Yeah, and that's another internal.
That's the problem
The
is
strike squads are so good.
strike squads are 22 points per guy. Compare that to
42.
Well, let's compare strike squads to the Primaris. What are they called?
Intercessor.
Intercessors.
Or 20 points.
I mean, that's a great value for a strike squad, I think, because I'm not saying that the intercessors are bad, but you're gaining so much stuff on the strike squad.
That's
already.
what I'm saying. You bump the strike squad up a point.
I guess, yeah.
You bump the interceptors. My gosh, up a point.
Yeah.
Bump the Dread Knights up 5 points, and bump the big guns on the Dread Knights up 5 points apiece.
Decrease Terminators.
Decrease Terminators.
And Paladins, why not?
And Paladins
are also
decrease each of them by 3-4 points.
Yeah, I think that would probably.
It's Grey Knights are already an elite codex, so you don't have a lot of options.
know.
But when you are only seeing one list,
I mean, it's literally the
Is
same
this-
list. Yeah.
you're not seeing, and there's not much else to add. I mean, your variation.
There's
in
no
HQs,
rhinos.
Yeah,
You could have
could
rhinos,
have
but
rhinos.
it seems like they don't have the most value.
transports are in a weird situation
Yeah.
in 9th edition in general,
are.
but you have no.
This guy had some HQ differences.
Need some HQ differences, but typically there's no HQ difference,
Yeah.
and there's
0 troop difference.
obviously
Never Terminators.
because there's never Terminators. You can't have a difference in fast attack,
Just
but maybe
one
you
choice.
just have less fast attack.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the Grey Knight player. I just see this every time, and it's like, well, okay, I've played enough. I know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, man, let's
It
see
is-
some variety. Which is why it's great playing you, because you don't bring this
And
every
here's
time.
the thing is, if I had unlimited money and if this was my job, like my full-time job.
Yes, which it's not. So if you want
It's
to support
not.
us, that
just
helps out.
It's a fantasy, yeah. Join the membership thing. But if I had it my way, I would have all these models. I would have the tournament list for sure. But like you said, I wouldn't want to do that every game.
Every single game.
I want to use Terminators.
Terminators are awesome.
They're so, I mean, they're half of, I don't know about the actual numbers in the lore, but it's a huge chunk of the Grey Knight force. You know, it's part of they're called, the name in this book is Brotherhood Terminator Squad. They're part of the Brotherhood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the changes that we just suggested, the points, increases and decreases for certain units, that's what they just did to Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
So it's very possible.
We'll see. Chapter approved 2022 will probably come out within a month of you guys seeing this video. So big changes to the Grey Knights or no changes? Who knows?
I'd be very happy with a Dark Eldar level change because that's actually exactly what we just described.
It's tough because this codex, I guess this codex came out months ago now.
It's older
So they
now.
had time to put chapter 2022 printed and put out there. So if it doesn't come out in chapter 2022, maybe in a balanced data slate, we'll see a change to the points, which I know that they don't want to do unless it's a problem. I think
Kind of
this
seems
is
like it's a problem.
borderlining a problem. Just for some variety. That's mainly what we want.
Yeah.
There's variety in the channel.
I mean, it's just, final note for me, it's a bummer. It's a bummer that, I get it, it's a tournament and you gotta bring the strongest stuff. You have to do that.
Yep.
It's just a bummer because as a casual player, which I don't know.
You mostly.
I would say I'm in between, even though I don't play many tournaments, just because I talk about it and think about this game a lot. But it's a bummer because I like having a good codex or a decent codex.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get too nerfed.
I don't think they're gonna get too nerfed. Just maybe some changes. We'll see. That has been 3 tournament lists. Let us know if you guys are using anything else in tournament lists.
Yeah.
Or is this really
Is this it?
Is this it?
Yeah. Let us know what you run for Grey Knights.
Yeah. Put it down in the comments. Have a conversation. Do you think they need to be changed? Are they oppressive or is it just a strong list?
How strong do you think it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all we got here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.